on me, but they walk the mile in my tracks. I ain't accepting defeat, cause I always grind for my keep. You see that smile on my face, but don't know the pain that made.
Yo, here with another one. This is content from Kings. You are now officially with Black Alliance Podcast. Got another special one for y'all today. Got my brother Brick Bar Ray in the house. Got a real special guest here for you as well, man. Our main man, RJ Taylor. You know, so definitely got a lot of information, man, that we're going to be getting from this young brother. And, you know, we couldn't have our brother Tyrell here with us today. Some things came up, but he definitely sends his blessings. But yeah, man, how we always start the show, man. You already know how we come, man. You know, how everybody living today.
You know, how you living, bro?
Man, I'm good. I'm blessed, man. God's been good. You know, we was just talking about, you know, transition for my family last year was a lot. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, just dealing with that transition, we moved back home to my hometown, Moultrie. So, but I mean, God's been good. We, you know, had baby girl in September, our first daughter.
Oh yeah, so Virgo. It's Virgo, right?
Yeah,
Virgo.
I don't know this.
That's what we gonna claim it.
Mariah.
Okay, like that.
Yeah, Mariah Faith. So
nice.
Awesome.
Okay, well, congratulations, brother. Congratulations on that, man.
Same here. Just been doing pretty good with the health insurance and everything. Just striving, working hard. Fresh on the dating scene. So you know, I've been doing that lately. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but financial wise, I'm trying to work on, you know, just getting to that next level, really.
Oh yeah. I think that's all of us, man. And you know, I'm the same, man. I can't complain at all. You know, it's a beautiful Sunday outside, man. I'm blessed. Family's good. I think my wife and my kids, they're actually on the road. They're heading back to Jacksonville now. They went to my niece's birthday party, and you know, so they had
some snakes or something somewhere.
Oh no, that was yesterday. My wife took the kids because, you know, I had to do some landscaping jobs yesterday, so she took the kids yesterday morning to it's like a fish spot, like right off of Bay Meadows. She took them to, and they were doing some type of event where kids could come, and like, man, they was playing with the snakes and doing of different stuff with fish. My daughter holding a snake. I'm like, man, what you doing holding that?
Pretty big too.
So I ain't no snake person, man. I don't do snakes, man. I'm good. You know, I look at them, but I ain't holding nothing.
You
know, we out here living. That's what it's about.
Right.
Yeah, man. But like I said, man, I'm good. Can't complain at all. I feel good. You know, mentally, I think I'm good, man. You know, no issues there, and you know, we grinding, man. You know how we coming.
Well, everybody looks healthy, so.
Oh yeah, I'm trying. You know,
I can lose a few pounds. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part. You know.
Hey, we good though, man. We good. But yeah, like I said, man, we got a real good one for y'all today. Very excited to have our brother here with us, Mr. RJ. You know, and you know, for the viewers out there, of course, you know, who don't know, you know, who Mr. RJ Taylor is, man. You know, give him some background, man.
Yeah, so you know, born and raised Moultrie, Georgia. So we grew up with y'all. So went off to school in Arkansas, Henderson State, majored in finance. So that's where essentially my passion for finance started. Essentially was after I was introduced to the school. What kind of
gave you that path though? Like what made you want to take that major?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So my mom was in accounting. So
really?
So she's always good with numbers. Like people talk about it. Like she used to work at the Y and like memorize like everybody's like numbers. Like,
what?
Like people didn't even have to tell her the membership number. She would just remember it. So she's good with numbers. So it's kind of hereditary that I like numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, you know, I did a little bit in accounting. I did a little bit with, you know, I knew I liked money, like numbers, like right. So I was like, so I was like, I'll try this, right? And so, you know, just from hearing and talking to different people, and so, you know, thankfully I had a lot of great professors that, you know, that actually like poured into me, and a couple in particular that it was like, yeah, you need to pursue this career.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's essentially where it came from.
Gotcha.
So,
well, you know, I went to college and everything at Georgia Southern. So I was just wondering, you know, because sometimes I had like kind of adversities or struggles sometimes in college that kind of, you know, just kind of not discouraged me, but you know, you always have obstacles and things like that. So I was just wondering, was there anything like during your college career that kind of, you know, kind of held you back a little bit, or what was your struggles during that, college career?
Yeah, I mean, originally it was being 14 hours away from home at 17 years old. So
know how that is, man.
Yeah,
don't
so
know anybody,
right? Not a soul. Like, so that was it originally. Like, I was calling my mom like the next week. Like, and I went out there during the summer. So I mean,
did you have to learn how to cook for yourself?
All of that. So I stayed in the dorm the first year, but then when I moved out the following year, then like I had to learn all this.
And I think
trial by fire. That's what it was.
I think that's a part of, as a, adolescence or just learning financial or managing money and things. That's kind of part of it, just being on your own.
Facts.
Budgeting food, whatever, your needs, things like that. So I think that kind of probably played an effect on that too.
Oh yeah.
And I can attest to that too, man. Like you said, you went far off to college. When you graduated, I did the same. I went to West Virginia. I was 12, 13 hours away as well, man. And when you're on your own, you know what I'm saying, it's all on you now. Mm-hmm. You got to be responsible. You got to be able to step up and say, okay, hey, I got to cook for myself, got to clean, got to make sure I manage that money, because we already know how that is. If you ain't on scholarship or nothing, then you got to do what you got to do. But nah, man, I can definitely attest to that. And one of the biggest things is growing up, where we from. I don't know about you, but I know you said, your mom is dealt in finances, so that was really big. Did she basically teach you financial literacy when you were coming up, or? No,
not at all. So, I mean, she's good at numbers. She's still good at numbers. Yeah. But as far as like financial literacy, like that wasn't a thing. Like that was like I said, I've studied finance, so it's for mine. The passion came from actually studying finance. Like it's not just somebody told me this or somebody told me that. It's a real passion because it was a subject that was studied, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would say that she didn't really, teach the financial literacy because she didn't know, right? Yeah. She knew accounting, she knew numbers, but financial literacy is a whole nother, deal.
Yeah, so for the outsiders looking in, what would you say to them? What is financial advising, or what do financial advisors primarily do?
Yeah. So I'll back up to go forward and say what financial literacy is first. Yeah. Because all financial literacy is, like, we throw the term out there all the time, right? Thanks. But really all it is having the ability to have the knowledge of knowing how to manage finances or how to make good informed financial decisions, right? So that's financial literacy, just like you have regular literacy with reading, right? Being able to decipher what you're reading and everything. It's the same thing on finance. So, and then as a financial advisor, what we do is help people with those, financial goals and what they're trying to achieve. So just like with weight loss or anything else financial, you should set goals, right?
True.
And then because the likelihood of you obtaining something just by saying it is very slim. Very, like we was talking about, health earlier. So if I just say I'm gonna lose weight, I'm probably not gonna lose a pound. But if I say I want to lose, 10 pounds by September when my daughter turns 1, because I know she's gonna be on the move and I can be out there with her, then I'm probably going to attain that goal because it's specific, it's a time frame, it's a number, and it's a purpose behind it. So the same thing. So basically helping people, envision what that actual goal is and helping them reach that goal with everything that's out there financially, right? Every type of financial instrument that's out there, helping them decipher, like, if they need to use that, if that's their best thing to help them reach their goals. So. And
I believe that's important, man, because we touched on it, I believe our first episode. My first episode was really more around, if your parents prepared you to thrive or did they prepare you to survive? And what we basically meant by that was, most of our parents, like you said, your mom didn't know. Your mom didn't necessarily know about financial literacy and how to properly manage, funds. Same thing with my parents, right? My parents told me for as long as I can remember, hey, you need to save some money. They told me, but nobody ever taught me. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's very important, man, because it seems like in the black community, man, like nobody's actually teaching that, and one of the biggest things when it comes to us as black people, me and my wife literally talked about this last night. When we die, we leave behind debt. We don't normally leave behind wealth. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I was raised by my grandparents, so they primarily just told me, go to school. That's all I heard was go to school. But go to school for what? Right. Nobody ever told me or
teaching
helped me to decide on, like, you know, whether I should go towards this major or, you know, just trying to make those future decisions. I never thought about it, you know, as a younger teenager and everything, you know.
But I think, I mean, we talk about that, but that's literally they did the best that they can with what they knew, right?
Yeah,
and
of course.
It's our job to. I mean, information is widely available now, right? In this age, in this time that we're in. But we take that and go with it, right? So all they knew is go to school, because they knew like the statistics, like you have a degree, you typically gonna be off, you know, better off financially. But now, you know, we got the tools to say, all right, yeah, go to school, but make sure like it's something that, you know, that you're going to be interested in, that you're going to be able to pursue, and that you can, you know, take care of your family or make a modest income off of. And if not, you know, there's nothing wrong with trades at all. Like you can still make, you know, a good, decent living in trades if that's so. Knowing that, but again, we have way more information now, so it's up to us to be able to decipher that information that we got from them and experience, right? The experience is the biggest teacher, right?
It's kind of where we got to kind of. People got to be able to want to seek that information.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's kind of bringing us to where we saw that there was a lack of financial literacy in school. You know what I mean? So do you think that there could be a change as far as that?
I hope so. I mean, I took Trig. I haven't used Trig a day in my life after that.
I mean, a better question would be though, why don't you think they teach, you know, financial literacy in school? Because at the end of the day, you know, most like you said, most people learn this stuff when they go off to college. You know, if you're trying to be a business major, finance major, or anything like that, you know, you may learn those things. Even other majors, they'll still teach you some type of financial information. But then you have 34 to 35% of high school students who graduate and they don't go to college. Right. So who's teaching those kids about financial literacy? So the bigger question is, why isn't this, or why do you think this isn't being taught in schools?
Yeah, man.
You could be honest, man.
Yeah.
You could be honest, man.
So we talk about our community a lot. You know, it's you know, race is a big topic now. But you know, what I'm starting to see more and more, just, you know, living life and growing, is more about, you know, classism, right? And so if you have people at the top that's making decisions on what's being taught in school, and, you know, and it's about that particular subject more so than anything, then you know, why would they put it in school? Just being real.
That's all I want to hear.
I mean, that's how you keep some people down. You know what I mean? I mean, it is a strategy, I would say. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, it's way different now, right? Like you mentioned trades. Like, you know, back when my dad was in school, you could graduate, you know, certified as an electrician, a plumber, a carpenter. Now those trades aren't in schools anymore. They're not teaching that. You know, now they're saying you got to go to college in order to get these certifications. And another thing you mentioned, like, when you was talking about trades, that's why I'm very happy that my dad, he taught me a trade. You know, he taught me about landscaping. Granted, I hated it, you know, when I was in school at the time, but now I realized I don't have to work for anybody for the rest of my life because I know how to do something with my hands that doesn't require me, you know, working for somebody else for a 9 to 5. I can just work for myself and do this. You know what I'm saying? So that is very important. And like you said, it deals with race, man. You know, they want to keep us down. So that's why this stuff isn't being taught in schools, you know, because this stuff is very important. Again, a lot of people can't afford to go to college, you know, so who's teaching them this stuff? Yeah.
But, you know? I mean, to your point, just to back up to say that, I was saying that it's more about me personally, from what I've seen, is classism is even more so than race.
Yeah, of course. So, lower class, middle class, and all that.
I remember you said something about MLK on one of your previous shows when you saying, you know, that he feared that he made a terrible mistake. Yeah. Before he passed, and that he was leading us into
a burning house. Yeah.
Yeah, but all that was, you know, the start of the Poor People's Campaign.
So and that's facts, because you got even black people. You got some black people that I would probably call Uncle Tom sometimes. But you got people that have access to particular information that will help people, but people are stingy with information, I feel.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
People are not just willing to, help people all the time. And that's just how it is sometimes. Right. Sad to say.
It's very sad. It's very sad. Yeah. But that's why it's on us to, again, we're in an information age to get that information out. So I applaud you all for what y'all's doing as far as the podcast and having that vision. I know Real, that was a big thing for him too, to just get the information out, because again, it wasn't taught as far as to us. Right. It was essentially just, what they knew. But now we got all type of information to be able to get that out there. So again, I applaud y'all, salute y'all.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
You
Appreciate
just gotta sow that seed. You know what I mean? Just spread the information somewhat, because people may just hear even bits and pieces, but that may just spark an interest for them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Because when we started, when Bitcoin and all that stuff was really getting big, and people was posting it on Facebook and Instagram and stuff.
We saw that
people was in my inbox. Hey man, how did you do that? How did you do that? But at the end of the day, it's like, I can tell you, but you also have to go out there and kind of do your own research. You got to learn for yourself.
Right.
And that's one thing I tell my wife. And I always use my wife as an example, because we talk about a lot of everything. Right. You know what I'm saying? But one of the funniest things with her is, I'll tell her all the time, hey babe, go buy this stock, or hey, go buy some of this, and just kind of sit on it. Her thing is, why can't I just give you the money and you do it? I'm like, I can do that, but what are you gonna learn? Right. You're not learning anything from me doing that. And God forbid, and she hates when I say this, but God forbid, what if I die tomorrow?
That's the same thing I say.
What if I die tomorrow, man? Like, you got to know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? So this stuff is very important. And with us being able to have this platform, man, like, we're gonna get out as much information as we can, man, because not everybody is out here to help our people. Mm-hmm. And we're the ones that's suffering. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones that we spend more money than any other people, but we make less money than any other people. Right. We're $1 trillion people, but we're the ones that seem to always be last. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? When I look at that stuff. So, another question, man, what would you say we as a people should be doing with our money from a financial
saving? That's the only thing.
He said saving.
Seriously, like, people talk about the next hot stock, the next hot whatever it is, but you can't. Wealth doesn't come from investing; it comes from saving, and then you invest your savings. Like that. That's how wealth is built. So we have to get in a mentality to save first. Like you're not gonna buy. I ain't gonna say you're not, but the chances are very slim of you buying a stock for $1 and then becoming a millionaire off of that stock.
That's true,
right?
That's true.
But if you you save $1,000 and you buy that stock and you do that on an ongoing basis, you probably will. Over time, I forgot the statistics, but you'll probably get there. I think that statistic is, like, if you are just invested in the U.S. market, like S&P 500, which is just all the
But it got to be long term. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But
people want that instant gratification. You know what I mean? So when it comes to stocks and crypto and stuff, you just got to be patient. It's long term, and if you believe in it, if you do the research, from what I know like crypto's about to take off. So it's just a matter of time. When it's gonna happen, we don't know. Right. Look at Facebook. It's not Facebook anymore. It's called Meta. Yeah. So a lot of companies are making a drastic change towards all this software or new technology, basically. So it's all just long term, and I feel like it's a way that's gonna, weaken that wealth gap. It's gonna bring more black people up, into that middle class. I would say, for sure. If you invest wisely. As long as you don't sell, that's how I look at it. You sell,
hold on to it.
That's when you lose. Yeah,
that's when you lose.
You don't lose until you sell. Yeah.
So don't just look at it and think you just took a loss. You know what I mean? So you just gotta hold on.
Yeah. So, and what you saying that, right? Because you said that when we asked you said to save. So why do you think we as a people are so fixated on spending for today instead of saving for tomorrow? Why do you think
I think first and foremost it's human nature. I mean, Well, I think that if we take a step back, it's first human nature. Like before we even get to culture, I think you just take a human. If they had no teaching, no upbringing, you put them in, they gonna like us as
Facts.
humans, we just
gonna want to spend.
Yeah, we're just gonna want. But it has to be again taught, and so I feel that's where the culture comes as far as us being behind the curve on that. Being enslaved for 100 years. And not having any, of course, nothing like that was taught. Like business was being had, right during that time, but we weren't participating. We were the business, right?
Yeah,
so that wasn't being taught to us. So, and then you take you go through all that with Jim Crow and segregation and all of that. That's just compounded, essentially, negatively compounded, like credit card debt, right?
True.
So now we're starting from behind. Because of all of those situations, right? It's playing catch up. So I think that's why the biggest thing is, that's why we're behind is because of that. Not to say it's an excuse because we have the information now, but what we do with that information now to go forward, I think is the biggest thing. So, and getting that information out there as far as not being the one to just spend.
Yeah,
so,
hold on to it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And what would you say? Like, because like you said, we weren't raised to be taught that, what I'm saying? Nobody taught us that. So what type of conversations do you think we should be having, like not just with our kids, but with other people, like to be able to help them with that?
Yeah, I'm very visual. Like I need, when I'm learning anything, I need to see it. Like it's hard for me to just hear something and be cool with it, right? So the visual I tell people is for me personally, it's the 80-10-10 rule, right? And
I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So mine is, you spend 80% of your income or live off of 80%. You pay yourself 10%, and then for me, it's tithing 10%, right?
Okay.
And so if you can't, live off of 80% of your income, then you need to reevaluate some things, right?
Thanks.
Maybe you need to add to your income. Maybe you need to get, a part-time job. Maybe you need to look at what you're spending in that 80% to see if you can make some deductions or some decreases in your expenditures. But if you do that consistently and you're saving 10% and you're paying yourself, you your first bill. Like I'm the first bill I pay. Like before my mortgage, before anything, that's the first bill. Like I feel like I'm the most important bill for the future, right? For my family. Yeah. So that's what I would give that visual of 80-10-10 or 90-10, whatever.
Yeah.
But to start there first is saying a visual of saving. So put that first, and then you budget within that 80 to say, okay, within what I'm spending, people should have a budget. I'm visual, but you should have a budget. You should know what's coming in, what's going out, and what you're spending on. So.
Yeah, no, and I agree 100%, man. That's something that I started back in December actually, but instead of the 80-10-10, I do 70-20-10. So 70% of my money goes towards bills, and then of course spending is within that, and then the 20% is divided into saving and then stocks, and then my other 10% it goes towards debt. Like any debt I have, whether it's credit card, I may spend that whole 10% strictly on like one credit card or whatever the case may be, right? But it's definitely helped me. It's helped me tremendously, because one of the biggest things, and I think we've all been there, we may be out one night with the buddies or whatever, may go on a vacation, then you come back the next morning, you look at your account like damn, I spent $800, right. Damn, where that money went? You know what I'm saying?
Invest, bro. I take everything out the bank. I make sure. I got everything like on auto pay and direct deposit. I get all that. So most of my money go towards the bills. But everything left, you know me, bro. I'm investing everything else I got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
but it
what
works
it's
in my favor. You know, I just feel like investing is the best thing for me at this time.
And you're right, because time is on our side with investing. Like that's the biggest tool we have. Is you talking about it? It's a long term game, which it is, and the younger you start, the more that money is working for you, the more it's compounding. So that's
Amazon about to do a split. You know how they did that split with who was Apple or Tesla? They
both did one, yeah.
They about to do 1 and 4 split or something. So you basically get 4 stocks for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I know one thing I've kind of been doing lately. I've been investing into a lot of stocks that offer dividends, man. Like that's real big. That was real big for me, because now that's residual income you're getting every quarter. You know what I'm saying? Every quarter I'm getting cut a check for just letting my money sit there. You know what I'm saying?
If you don't need it, reinvest it. So
I'm for real, and that's all I do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like these banks got these crazy interest rates or anything. Well,
exactly.
Getting, all kind of interest.
Yeah,
and it's not really doing anything.
And that was big for me, man, because my wife, and one thing I praise my wife for, she loves to save some money. She'll put some money up. She don't splurge like that. But one thing I had to get her out of doing was, I was doing the same thing with her. We put a lot of money into our safe. Until one day I'm sitting there and I'm like, it ain't making no money for us sitting in the safe, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's not gaining no type of interest. So once I kind of got her on board, we put a lot of that money into savings and stocks and mutual funds and stuff like that. That way, it's working for us. While we sleep, it's gaining interest. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to us looking in the safe, same amount still sitting there.
Matter of fact, with everything going on now, you're actually losing money with money in the safe or money in the mattress or money in the shoebox.
Exactly.
Inflation, whatever the inflation rate is, so right now it's 7%, so that's what you lose, because that money in the safe and money in the shoebox and money in the mattress ain't gonna be the same amount of money it is in the future. Like, you can't, man. The buying power is not going to be the same in the future as it is today, so it does need to be working. But I do tell people to that point of, looking down and looking in your account and seeing that it's down, that you do need to have an emergency.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
3 to 6 months is what I tell people worth of living expenses, so you're comfortable if anything were to happen.
True that.
You get laid off or changing jobs. You comfortable during that. I mean, that's what goes to mental health and all of that, right? So you ain't trying to struggle and figure out what's the next thing. Like, you got that on hand, cash on hand, but anything over that, definitely needs to be invested in earning more. Because what you don't want to have is, you put your money there, and then you have an emergency. And it's down, right? Then you gonna lose because
that's why you don't put your all into it. You can't,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, just save and invest what you're able to save. I would say, you know what I mean. The way I have everything set up, most of the money I do invest is savings. You feel me? Or I look at my investments as savings. Even if I lose a couple $100, I'm like, well, it's all good.
It's gonna come back up.
It's gonna come back up. And I know at least I got money in there. It may not be what I put in there at the beginning, but who knows? Like, I invested in Doge in the beginning, and I put like $100 in that. That turned to like $1,400, and I was like, wow, that was like my first time kind of dabbling in it, and it kind of just shined the light on it, and I was like, I could do this. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, just watching different people that do invest in these different coins and things, and just trying to get insight on what the utilization of these things are going to be for the near future, which is why I believe in it. You know what I mean? So, again, it's all about saving and research. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's not just one thing you got to do. It's a couple of steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like how the three of us, we just said 3 different plans, but we doing the same thing. So that's why I tell people, whichever you do what's best for you, but you just develop a plan and stick with that plan. Be disciplined and sticking with it. So.
And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of us. I know, like I said, I put myself first, man. I used to blow money like it was nothing,
right?
Because I didn't have that plan. I didn't have anything structured. And again, I wasn't taught that. I was spending a lot of my money on liabilities as opposed to assets. So, I mean, and I think that's what a lot of us do. I'm not just going to say us as black people, but I think a lot of people in general. Like I said, you mentioned classes, lower class and middle class, that and upper class, that's what separates it. You know what I'm saying? Those people having a plan, they sticking to that plan, having funds that they know that they can put here and put here. But I think a lot of us don't necessarily know the difference between asset and a liability. Could you get into that for the viewers?
Yeah. So, and that's a great point. So, essentially, a liability, I start off with that because that's unfortunately the most common. But a liability is simply you owing somebody money, right? I mean, it's debt. Right, you're the borrower, right? You're borrowing money. You owe somebody. It's a liability. It goes back to being on your balance sheet and all that. But you have to pay somebody back, and then they're not loaning you money for free, so you're paying interest to them and saying, thank you for letting me borrow your money, right?
Yeah.
and so that's a liability. An asset essentially is something that's going to gain value over time. You own that asset, right? And it's, you own it in the hopes that it appreciates in value over time. So, I mean, they can be combined like a mortgage in a house. Like the house is the asset, the mortgage, the loan that you took out for the asset is a liability. So, but yeah, the name of the game is to have more assets than you have liabilities. So when you take a look at it, so.
Okay. Yeah. No, and like I said, I think it's important, man, just because, like I said, a lot of us, man, we're not being taught these things, man, and we'll go out there and buy a $70,000-$80,000 car, knowing that we only making $40,000-$50,000 a year. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I mean, right now we're in the COVID experience type of stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of fraud and stuff going on. So we're in a different age right now, and inflation is going crazy. The interest rates are going up. They don't want our wages to go up really right now. So I feel like this is very important for everyone just to be able to talk about this stuff at this time we're in right now anyway.
And also know what's going on. Yeah.
It's fast because, I mean, since Joe Biden got in, I mean, it's just a lot going on. So I have a question of whether you think who kind of did more for the black community as far as like Joe Biden versus Trump. What do you think?
When you say did for, like what, like
or established or set laws that benefited us more?
Laws? Oh, I mean, if you're just talking about laws, but Biden ain't even had a full term, so full disclosure. But I mean, statistically, there haven't been too many laws passed with this recent administration for the black community. Just being real. So
yeah, just wondering what you think, because a lot has happened in these last 8 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'd probably say this is the highest anything has been as far as gas prices, everything, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even during when COVID first took off, you would have thought the prices probably would have went up more then because everybody was buying everything. But that's kind of, I feel like everything that happened then is kind of affecting us now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all about supply and demand. Yeah. So.
It is. Like, money ain't free. Like stimulus, like we got stimulus checks,
PPPs,
like if the government is spending money, like they expecting to get it back, and if they don't get it back, then what happens is everybody can afford the same thing. So what happened with supply and demand? The prices go up. That's what's going on with.
That's why you can't find any Air Force Ones. All white.
You said the all white ones.
Those are the hardest.
They said they were the first ones to go. Huh?
Man, they like Reeboks now. Everybody can get them. Man. It's crazy.
Right.
Oh, man.
Even the Yeezys, bro. Man, you can't even get the Yeezy slides. They're like $60 retail. Man, you know how much they resell them for? Minimum $200.
But that's like, but what you're saying is everybody can get it. Like, and so it goes back to what we was talking about earlier is that, everything has a price, right? And if everybody can get it, then that price is going to go up because most people are willing to pay more.
PlayStation 5.
I looked up on a raffle and got mine.
I seen that. I was like, man, you lucky dog, bro.
I don't know how I did that. Yeah, I was lucky.
I'm an Xbox man forever. I ain't never going over there.
I might have to get it.
Well, look, I'm an Xbox man too, but when I saw the raffle, I was like, hey.
Ain't nothing wrong with free 99, man.
Right. If it's free, it's for me, so.
Oh man, that's dope. And I forgot to mention as well, man. Definitely forgot to give you your roses, man, while you're here. Like you said, you moved back to our hometown, and I see you already making an immediate impact. Just saw that you got voted to the board of directors, right, for the youth.
Yeah, well, for United Way, but Brian Knighton, we got leadership legends too down there.
Nice. Yeah, so how did that come up? You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get out too much off subject, but
you're fine. With leadership legends.
Yeah.
So essentially, Brian, what year Brian graduated? Y'all know he played.
Brian,
ball.
He played ball.
He played ball. So I looked up to him playing ball, right?
Yeah.
And then I think he came like I was in 5th grade. Seniors would come, holler at elementary school. And he came talk to our class about don't do drugs, all that, whatever it was. And so I was just like,
dare.
Yeah, dare. That's exactly what it was now that I think about it. But yeah, so I was like, dang, like, he out there running the ball, like, dang, like, that's what's up. So anyway, fast forward, I go off to Henderson. My mom keep telling me, Brian asked about you. I'm like, oh, that's what's up, like, And she was like, when you come home, he want to holler at you. So, and that's what we talked about, just school, it was him reaching back out to me, right? To say like, I know you're out there, you by yourself, how everything going, be expecting this, this, what this could look like, just pouring into me. So, essentially the first thing I did when I graduated from Henderson, I moved back to Moultrie. And so, he was already there working in the school system. So we linked up. And, and he continued that. So he's like, now that you finished and you back in Moultrie, now these are things that you need to be on the lookout for, making sure that you, have a plan now that you back here, right? And all of that. So we was chopping it up, and essentially we came to say, like, how do we, like, this relationship that came, from over years, but it was genuine, right? It was genuine, and how do we recreate that, right? Because on that note, he was like in a leadership program in Moultrie, right? So he was already starting that path, and then so we just said, how do we replicate this relationship and just make it more? So, longer story after that, but that's essentially how it started. It's just out of a genuine relationship with a mentor-mentee relationship that he, started essentially with me, but checking on everything through school. So
nah, man, I think that's dope, man. We got to give you a round of applause for that, man. Like, that's big. You know what I'm saying? You went back home, and then now you giving back. You know what I'm saying? That's always big. And that's something that we really want to focus on as well with this show, and I think that's one of Tyrell's visions as well, is making this bigger than just a podcast, to where we can give back to our community. We can take this back to Moultrie. We can keep it here as well locally, around Jacksonville, and do some things for the youth. And I think that's important, man, because at the end of the day, it starts with them. They're our future, and people were saying the same thing, when we was their age, you know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all the future, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? We going to be relying on them in another, 20, 30 something years, so that's where it starts. So I think that's huge, bro. Definitely got to give you your props for that.
I appreciate it.
But yes, sir. It's
my honor. So it's low key for me personally. I feel like it's a responsibility. So I mean, we kind of low key obligated to give back. So I mean,
who else gonna do it?
Right. And that's kind of where my wife said that exactly. I'm like, man, at the time I was in Atlanta. And I was like, I don't know if I'm getting on the road every other weekend doing all that. And she was like, okay, well, who gonna do it? So she had a good point. So
okay.
Sometimes you gotta. I just feel sometimes in life, men just need that woman, that's just gonna encourage them.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And that plays a big effect on men anyway. I feel.
Yeah. Shout out to the queens, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the queens.
We need that. We need that love.
Oh, good, man. But nah, that's what's up too, man. But we definitely want to get back to it as well. We were still kind of, speaking on the finances. What would you say right now, if you could tell the people anything, like what should they be like investing in, or rather it's, putting their money into stocks or cryptos or a mutual fund, like whatever,
Right.
Housing.
Index,
Right. So just speaking in general, since I'm not giving, a specific person. Specific advice. But I would say a lot of, we talked about saving first, right? But a lot of people don't realize, what if and when their company offers stuff, right?
True.
Like these fringe benefits. Like if your company offers a 401k and they offer a match, I tell people all the time, whatever that percentage of match is, that should be a part of your if you're saving 10% for yourself, that should be a part of your savings, because they're gonna give you whatever that match is. That's free money. Right.
That's
so that's free. Like I can't, like, people talk about, I'm put it with you. I can't give you free money. Like like they do that. Like, you want to maximize that bucket first.
Yeah.
And then, depending on your tax situation, it's tax deductible and all that, whatever you pay yourself for the future. So the government like incentivizes us to save for our future, because a whole nother conversation would probably be another 30 minutes talking about this, but Social Security and all that's paid from our tax, and they got to pay that out.
I just saw my 401k got like $1,200, and I was like, dang.
Right. So
stack it up.
And I wasn't even looking at it or nothing. I just see it come out. I mean, they take a lot of taxes out. Shoot.
But
I don't think about it. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like we need to set things like that where we don't necessarily think about at the time that
exactly
won't affect.
I was just about to touch on that.
And you said your bills was on auto pay. Like you treat yourself as a bill. The 401k is you in the future, right? Your future self is definitely appreciate, you know.
And I think that's what's helped me like big time too, man. Like me personally, like I think when you don't see that money coming out, you know what I'm saying? You out of mind, out of sight. I mean, out of sight, out of mind, right? So it's the same thing.
This little debt is like probably like $1,000, but they take like $30 out every month. I don't even see it or even think about it. It's just there.
And I think that's what would help a lot of us, bro. Because you know I got my mutual funds like that comes out once a month. You know, savings for my kids comes out once a month. I don't even see it. It's by the time I see what I've made from my check, they've already taken all that stuff out of there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'd be extremely helpful. But you know, since we got you here, you know what do you think is the like real like solution to, you know, helping our people, you know, become more financially literate?
I mean, first and foremost, the conversation and the platform and how we're doing it right now, right? I think that's the first thing, getting that information out there to our peers, you know, people younger than us, even, you know, people older than us as well. So awareness. Yeah, so awareness is the first thing, and letting people know and having those conversations more readily. That would be the first thing I would say. And then, you know, take it a step further and being more intentional with it, right? So, you know, asking people to, you know, have these conversations with their kids. Like, you know, I mean, we brought up DARE, right? I mean,
DARE, yeah.
But I'm saying I might be mistaken on how the program works, but don't they, like, you know, ask parents to participate in all that and, like, not having their kids do drugs and all that with DARE? No.
Man, you asking the wrong person, man.
Yeah. I can't remember how the program worked, but what I was saying is they essentially pushed.
They came to school, they had the little shirts with the tiger.
But I'm saying they essentially pushed that, and they asked for parent participation, but it's the same way on this with finances, asking parents to be actively involved with having these conversations.
I see what you're saying.
They should do something like that. But it should be called rich. Just, you might not get rich, but that'll entice people to be like, rich.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, good point.
No, you gotta make it a nice acronym or something. That'll be dope.
Yeah.
No, I think that'll be helpful too, man, because like you said, getting the parents involved, so that way it's not only helping the parents, but they're able to, like you said, pass that down to the kids. You know what I'm saying? Starting the awareness up here so it can trickle down. Right. So no, I definitely agree with that.
That's where it starts, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So how do you think as far as like, how do you think like inflation has affected our community?
I mean, I feel like we've gotten hit the hardest only because, you know, well, not the absolute hardest, but we've gotten hit hard because of essentially, you know, we're already starting from behind, right? So, so you know, if we talk about financial literacy, we talk about two things. Our community is low in financial literacy, but also one of the highest spenders. That's a terrible combination, right? And so then you add inflation on top of that. We either gonna do two things, right? Being real, right? We either gonna continue to buy at the inflated prices, or you know, take out debt to buy, right? Because that's in our nature, which is then creating a whole nother, you know,
credit cards and them loans.
So it's a compound effect in the opposite way, like compounding with saving and investing. You know, it compounds for the good, but debt that's an even bigger shovel, right? That's a bigger snowball, like if it's compounding, rolling downhill. So, you know, that's just very general, but I feel like that's the reason why it, you know, impacts us even more, right? Prices us out of stuff, housing. You know, we was talking about that earlier, right? So, you know, home ownership, you know, even paying, you know, your rent bills, you know, all that other stuff. It definitely impacts already because economically we're already at a lower level. So, you know, statistically speaking, very generally. So
Facts.
Man, that's crazy though. Nah, it kind of blows my mind though, man. Like it's still kind of hard for me to get over the fact that, you know, that we're $1 trillion people, but we're like dead last when it comes to like almost anything dealing with finances, man. Like, you know, we don't get paid as much, and then even from like a black male perspective, our women out educate and out earn us. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it from an overall perspective, they definitely are educated.
No, I know that, but that's because I was thinking the opposite of how, you know, it's not so terrible, but it's bad for them because they have more education but are paid less. So I was looking at statistics. So
so it's just kind of crazy though.
It is. It's terrible. Crazy. So, but yeah, again, that awareness, putting that out there. You know, like if it's you know, the more we talk, like we talking about it now, putting it out there, like that's a thing. That's a statistic. Like that, numbers don't lie. Like I said earlier, that's why I like numbers. Like they are what they are. You can't.
That's
you
crazy,
try to fudge them, but they at the end of the day, they are what they are, and that tells you where your time and your resources should be spent. I forgot who it was that said like the statistics show me like your bank statement or show me your financial, and I'll show you where your where your priorities are. Like so if like we see that as a country, as a community or whatever, we see that that's a problem. That's what we should be focusing on. So.
Man, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I just wish we had like more people, because, you know, for us as black people, bro, it's like our leaders are celebrities and things like that. I don't feel like we have like a true leader who's gonna come out, take a stand, and say, hey, we need to get these things structured. So it's just kind of crazy, you know, all the way from, you know, financially or, you know, like whatever the case. It just feels like we just need the right leadership. I think that would help tremendously, but, you know, who's to say that's ever going to come?
No, I mean, I agree with both of those statements. Yeah. Both of those statements. I mean, essentially, I think it's going to be a lot more grassroots. A lot of stuff happened from boots on the ground, grassroots effort than it would be from any, you know, higher up leader saying this is what needs to be done, and then it trickles down. I think you get more done when it goes bottom up. So like, again, the work we doing, the information we talking about, letting that spread like wildfire, and then, you know, letting the, you know, people taking the baton and going from there. So.
Right.
Yeah. And I think one of the positives from COVID, you know, was the fact that, you know, it created a lot of entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah, so many businesses were created during that. So
I think that was definitely helpful, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think black women were like really big. They were really on it.
I think I saw that stat too.
Yeah, they were really, really on it. So I mean, again, shout out to the black queens, man. Yeah. You know, taking that lead. But I think that's one thing that, you know, I feel at least positive about. You know, that we at least did take that step as far as, like you said, ownership. You know, this is ours. Because I can remember a time one of my clients asked me. This may have been like last year. You know, he asked me, he was like, man, you know, you make good money doing what you're doing outside of this. Your wife make good money doing, you know, outside of this. You know, so why are you doing this? And, you know, without hesitation, the first thing I said was, well, I mean, at the end of the day, man, there's no such thing as me being safe punching somebody else's clock. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no security in that. You know, I can go into my job tomorrow and get fired, but I ain't finna fire myself if I'm the boss. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think definitely ownership is a big thing that you know, we as a people should focus on. I think it'll help us. Because I tell people all the time, man, if you work in 2 jobs, if your first job is your 9 to 5, your second job should be your business, man. Don't keep selling yourself short, you know, working 2 jobs for other people, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you out there slaving, like, hey, let that other, you know, income be your business. Right. You know, so I think that's important, and I'm at least glad we took that step.
Oh yeah, small business is the backbone of the country. Like, people don't realize that, but like it's really, the country is not driven by, well, when I say driven, like physically, not by monetarily.
Then they say, if I'm not mistaken, isn't like 85% of like most businesses are like just like entrepreneurs? Like I think.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the statistic. So
I think it was like 85%, something like that.
Or small business. So crazy. And that's, I mean, the tax code and everything rewards, you know, business owners essentially, as opposed to employees. Like they encourage it, right? Because they know it creates jobs. Small businesses create jobs. So we talk about that. You know, we talk about unemployment in our community is always, you know, a higher rate than others. But, you know, with entrepreneurs and people in our community creating businesses, creates jobs, right? So, so that's a whole nother conversation. So,
fast.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
We got to work on some businesses, bro.
Hey man, we gonna get it popping, man. It's a lot of stuff, man, that I really want to get into. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm talking about me personally as far as like different businesses. But you know, one of my biggest things is making sure that I'm first educated, so I know what I'm getting into. Like, you know, I did the landscaping because I grew up doing that, so I was already kind of, you know, knowledgeable about that background. You know, doing the podcast. You know what I'm saying? That was something that, you know, Tyrell really wanted to do. And after me and him had that conversation, it was like, okay, cool, bro, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? I believed in everything that he was trying to do. So, and it's becoming successful. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I want to get into house flipping. I want to get into all that, you know, but I want to make sure that I am educated first, you know, before I take that, you know, immediate step. I think it's important.
Oh, yeah. Preparation is key. I mean, before you do have to take that leap of faith eventually, right?
Oh, yeah.
But preparation is key as far as, you know, it might take, you know, nothing wrong with taking 2 to 3 years to figure out, you know, what that business is, how it works, pick other people's brains, go into that business saying, hey, I just want to observe what you're doing, picking up, calling people, asking for advice. Like, nothing wrong with doing that. But what, like, to your point, Ray, what you were saying earlier, we just have to stay committed to that throughout the 2 to 3 year process, saying, like, this is the business I want to create, even though I know it's not generating a dime for me right now, like I haven't even started, but staying true to saying, you know, this is the passion, this is my dream.
Gotta stay consistent.
Exactly. It's all about, you know, developing that plan and sticking with it. Just like we said with anything else. So.
And that's dope, man, because I was watching the interview that Trent Williams did. He's offensive lineman in the NFL, and he was saying the same thing.
That's on my wait list. I mean, on my list of watching. So I haven't watched it yet. Yeah.
Oh, well, I ain't gonna give you too much. I ain't gonna give you too much, but
it's cool.
But
I mean, it's cool, bro. It's gonna be the same information. It ain't a movie.
I just like the jewels that he dropped though, man, because he was like, you know, he got into real estate, and he said, man, before I got into real estate, you know what I'm saying, I did my homework. I did all the research before I spent the dime. And you know, granted, this man's a multimillionaire, and he was like, you know, he took his time, but he said when he did it, he started out with I think 8 properties, and what he did was during his research, the research that he was, you know, going through, it said, you know, it's best to buy homes that are within school districts because they appreciate faster.
Yeah, people gonna want their kids to be in good schools.
Exactly.
If they moving. So.
And he said when he did that, man, he was like, he said he just remembered getting a check one day for like $40K. And he was like, oh man, I ain't think nothing of it. But he was like, you know, that just goes to show that, you know, it's money there. And I think he said within a month of him buying those properties, 'cause I think he said he bought the properties for like $189, and then I think he said within a month it almost had already doubled. You know what I'm saying? Some of the properties are already doubled. You know, so I was like, damn, man, that's crazy right now.
Yeah. So home ownership, I mean, not specific real estate, but it fits into the sphere of real estate. But home ownership is the biggest way that we can build wealth. Like that's
true.
Like that's the biggest vehicle to create wealth is home ownership, right? And so that's first and foremost. So, but then you take that. If you are creating a place to live for other people, right, with real estate, whether it's, you know, you're renting out or whatever it is, you know, that property is still going to appreciate, like, you know, especially, you know, based off the school system and everything it is as well. So it's a very,
that's crazy.
it's a very real way to, you know, to accumulate wealth. And again, it's favored by the tax code and government and all that. So.
Hey man, we finna get in the house flipping, bro. That's finna be our next thing.
I'm just trying to get in the house, you know what I'm saying? You feel me?
They said not to flip yet, just get in the house
I'm trying
first.
to get in the house first. You feel me? I'm trying to get my little family established. You know, I'm working on the foundation right now. You know,
right.
We laying the pavement and the cement, right? All that right now, but you know,
it's coming.
It's coming.
Yes, sir.
We manifesting it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's what's up, man. Like I said, I'm definitely glad you came, man. You gave a lot of information, man, and hopefully the viewers can definitely take heed to it. But you know, we always like to end it, man. Like I said, you're a financial advisor now. You're back in our hometown. You're giving back. What's your end game, man? Like,
that's a good question. Honestly, I mean, it's more family than anything else. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I just want to, especially now, you know, be a good husband, be a good, you know, father, right? be a good brother, be a good son.
Getting old, boy. We
Right. I mean, that's my priorities. Like, like that's
getting old.
Like when you say like the end goal, so like, you know, God forbid everything else fail or anything else fail. Like on that, like that's the only thing I'm focused on.
Right.
Really, the other
you just had the newborn, so I'm pretty sure you want to be able to leave something for her whenever.
Exactly. So that all that to say is that what is driving all of the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is being able to.
It's that motivational factor for you.
Exactly. Okay. So end goal, if I just
Man,
want them to be straight. So if they straight, I'm straight.
When we gonna get Ralph the third, man?
That's up to the man upstairs. That's up to the man upstairs. So
hey man, that's dope, man. That's dope.
I'll be ready for that one. Make sure you invite us for the baby.
I got you. Especially since we local now. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, nah, man. Like I said, man, definitely a blessing to have you here, bro.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure.
Man.
I appreciate y'all inviting me out, man.
For sure. And then the viewers, y'all already know, man, at the end of every episode, gotta do the BOB, which stands for Black Owned Business of the Day. Again, this is a local person back in Montreal as well. We're showing some love too. Jarvis Lambright, we call him Buck Nasty. You know what I'm saying? Call him Buck Nasty, man. But he has his Black Magic Sports Apparel back home, and dude, booming, man. He really eating it up out there, man, and it's good material,
it's
man.
Nice.
Just from checking it out.
Pretty good. People be ordering them all the time.
Yeah, man. So again, man, big shout out to Buck, man, and for doing this thing. Another Black entrepreneur, bro. Love to see it, especially in our hometown. He's building wealth for the family. So y'all check him out. We're gonna have the information in the link for the video, man. So submit them orders for Buddy. But anything else, man? Y'all got anything to add?
Nah.
Good.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. It was a good topic. I mean, much needed. So,
man. Like I said, man, during this time, we need you, bro. We need you in the community. We need more people like you. You know what I mean? I just think we need to try to, for the younger people, it starts with the younger people. You know what I mean? So we got to do something, or at least set an example for all our younger people to, want to do what we do, whatever.
Yeah.
Positive things.
Yeah. Exactly. I couldn't agree more, man. And again, man, glad y'all brothers was able to make it here today, man. And hey, content from Kings, man. It's Black Alliance.